Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to HR Repair. This is Hey Ray. Today we have a 2011 Chevrolet. It is the Silverado edition. Customer complaint. Oh, it's also the Texas edition. Today we have a complaint of the remote control does not work. Oh, hey Hoss, you hiding? So let's get into this thing and see what we can figure out. Verify the customer's concern, do a couple of checks, and see what we find. Contact! The customer states that he's replaced the batteries in his remotes. None of them work, and he wants this to work because he wants to be able to remote start it, and then also at least lock and unlock the doors. So let's go ahead and verify that this does not work. We have nothing out of anything. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, we're going to make sure that this remote is working. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to fire up our TPMS tool. And I do need to clean the screen on there. I just seen how dirty that thing is. Go ahead and scratch it good and proper with those rags. Sounds like a good idea. All right, get this thing fired up, and then we'll be able to test our remote. All right, it's fired up. Let's go into Toolkit. Come on. Come into RKE and RF. Now, let's just verify that we do have a signal. Yes, we do. So the remote is working as it's designed. So we know that this remote is putting out a signal. Now, is it the right signal? Yeah, probably. I mean, usually as long as it's putting out a signal and it picks it up there, you're good to go. So let's go ahead and just back out of there. All right, so I've got the scan tool hooked up, and we've done a scan, and we do have loss of communications with the remote function actuator. And if we come into here, we see that the RCDLR is no longer responding. So, as with all modules that are not responding, we need to verify that we have good communication lines, which we should have because most of our others are communicating on this same line, so we don't see a problem with our communication line here. So I'm assuming there's a problem here with the remote control door lock receiver. So let's just come in here, and device is unable to communicate. Sorry guys, I had my mic over here, sitting right there. I had to leave for just a little bit. So what we need to do is we need to test power and grounds. That remote control door lock receiver is going to be right back here, right behind this panel right here. So we're going to need to gain access to this panel. I don't know how much we need to pull out, but we're going to try to get this seat moved forward here. I think I can do that. Maybe. No, I cannot. Can I get this out of here without removing the seat back? Maybe. I think it's like almost doable. Let's see here. Let me get you guys resituated. I need to use both hands. I don't want to break anything. All right, so come back here. It's like right back inside there. Question is, can we get this thing at least clearanced enough to be able to get back in here. Come on. Need to get a little trim tool there. I'm sorry, I know you guys can't see too well, but neither can I. So let's just see if we can pop this out of here. They definitely didn't want that thing to come off real easily. I know you're not supposed to put these things in your mouth, but sometimes a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Okay. Come on. You know you want to come out of there. You know, if you think about all of the germs that this thing has on it, you understand why mechanics don't get sick quite as often. I just choose not worry about germs too much on this one. I mean, it's just my fingers, right? Okay. So, we should be able to get back here to check our powers and grounds. Let me show you how this thing is back here. It's a very small receiver. It's nothing real major, nothing real big, and it just you just push these two tabs in and pop that thing right out of there. Now we need to flip this around, and in this green terminal here, we need to check our powers and grounds. There's another plug-in, but that's going to be our antenna. So I believe it's going to be the black and white one, and the red and white one we want to back probe and see if we have any power and ground up to that. If we have power and ground up to that, this thing needs to be replaced. Alright guys, I had somebody show up, so I was trying to do this and talk with them at the same time, and I didn't record. But as you can see, we have now got communications with the remote control door lock receiver. The problem we've got is I have to manually apply power via the back probe there to our red and white wire. Then we can talk to it. So that means we have no power. So I have verified the ground is good. There's no power. So one of the things we want to do is we want to check the voltage at the fuse, which according to the wiring diagram, let's get some access here. According to the wiring diagram is going to be the fuse block and the instrument panel DSM fuse 10A. So let's check that fuse, and if that fuse is blowing, why did it blow? I don't know, but we'll figure that out. So let's look here. The DSM, there's DDM, courtesy, DSM 25, fuse 25, which is going to be this one right here. So if we look, it's right beside the long one there. It's going to be this fuse right down here. Is that right? Yeah. That's right. That is right. Okay, so do we have power to that fuse? Let's get our power probe. And I'm using the power probe now because that is easier to check. And we can check voltages. Don't know if I have to have the key turned on to this or not. No, I do not. Oh, sure we don't, because we have power on both sides of the fuse. We'll go ahead and pull that fuse out and make sure that we have not somebody pulling a prank on us and pulled the legs off the fuse. So let's pull this fuse out. Both legs are still there. Put the fuse back in. Okay, So it appears like we either have a bad connection here, or I think it looks like we have no connectors in between these two. So maybe we need to get an actual wiring diagram, and let's see if there's any connectors in between there. All right, so this is the actual wiring diagram for this RCDLR. That is correct. There is no break. Not supposed to be any connectors in between here and there. So somewhere in the wire, we have a broken wire. Now, it is odd to me that we don't have a blown fuse. I would think that normally, not always, but normally when you break a wire, sometimes it shorts out because it's corroded or whatever, but we don't have that here. So I'm going to get you guys set up, and I think from the research that I've done, I think this wire would run from the back side, or maybe from here, and runs down through the sill plate and along there toward the back. Now, I don't normally recommend that we go into what all the other fixes have been, or a lot of the other fixes have been, but I was just looking at that just to see, is there a case where somebody had this exact same problem and they found a break in the wire? They did. One guy said he found it right here by the seat belt in the door sill, and he said there was a break in the wire there. So we're going to go ahead and pull some of this door sill and stuff out of here. And might help if I turn the key on. We'll pull. That doesn't work at all. Okay. I see. Well, that's not good. That works, but that does not. Well, that's a bummer. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and get the sill plate pulled off. Let's just see if we can find anything down there. There's been some aftermarket wiring done to this one as well, so maybe we'll find something there. Don't know. Let's get some of this stuff moved over. And get this out of here. We'll just put that underneath the truck for now. And let's pop this up. There's a lot of stress on some wires going in underneath here because water collects in here. People wash off their vehicles, and rust starts in here. So let's just go ahead and pull all of this off of here and see if we can. Oh, come on. It should pull right out of there. There we go. Man, some of these things hold on for dear life. All right, so we've got a little rust starting up here, but nothing that I can really see that's major. But let's just kind of pull some of this up. I want to track this wire. I beg to differ a little bit with the fact that we don't have any connectors, because I think, okay, let's pull this up, pull this out of the way. If we can't find too much, we're not going to go into a lot of time-consuming diagnostic work just to try to find a break in the wire. What we'll do is we'll do an overlay wire so that we can provide power to it, which will work just fine. By the way, this truck has 300,000 miles on it. So it's been around the block a few times. But what I want to do is get this loose from here. Why can't I? GM? Sometimes guys overdo things. Sometimes you don't do it good enough. There we go. Okay, let's pull this weather stripping out of here. I think this is going to be our power and ground. Back to here. That is true. I'm going to continue looking. You guys are probably not going to want to see the backside of me for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes. But I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep pulling some panels. And if I find something, I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so I hate to do this. I hate to pierce wires. But we're going to have to fix that once we get back. This is about the only way to do it. So what I did is I came and pulled this center pillar cover off, and I checked, probed the wire right there. I've got power there. Then I came over here and I probed it there, and I've got power there. So then I came over here and probed it here, and I have no power. So now I know that somewhere in this stretch of wire, this wire is broke. Now, from the outside, that looks perfect. But somewhere in there is our problem. So let's get you guys set up. Maybe we can find this together. So let's see if I can pull this off of here. And you know, I don't know, like there's nothing that looks corroded here. Not sure why that would have broke. But let's just see what we can find. You know, and it's obviously the wire's still connected. So this is, I don't know, this is odd to me. There wasn't anything really pinched anywhere. Haha. There it is. So let's see, where was that at? Right there. And you guys, there's literally, so I should have let you guys see it, but this is literally what caused this. This piece of aluminum foil got stuck down in here, and that was right there. But look at that. There is the break in our wire. We've got the green crusties. We've got the split in the wire. We actually had it kind of dig into our black ground there, but we do have a good ground. So that right there, like, this is not even that hard. I mean, it's a little bit, but not really. So there you have it. We're gonna fix this, and we should have communications with a remote control door lock receiver again. But yeah, wow, I gotta say, I was not expecting that when I first started this job. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I felt confident enough that it was the remote control door lock receiver that I actually ordered one from GM. because I just figured that when he said that, and he said he found that the remotes quit working, and I found that it worked, was sending a signal. I just assumed that it was that. And this is proof once again as to why you should always check your powers and grounds to the modules. This literally can happen. So let's get that repaired, and I'll bring you guys back once I get that repaired. Alright, so I decided I'm going to show you guys how I actually fix these things. That way there's proof. Let's go ahead and cut this wire in half. And what we want to do, because this is all corroded here, is we want to cut it right here. Then we're going to strip it back, and we got to go back until there's no more corrosion. So that's still corroded a little bit there, not too bad. Let's come on back to here. That's good clean wire right there. So then I like to use these connectors here. You can use heat shrink connectors, which is fine, but I like to use these just because whenever you go through the heat shrink or crimp through the heat shrink, it will sometimes damage the heat shrink. Now, like I said, I did have to pierce the wire to test all this, so we're going to have to seal that up. And since we've got this apart anyway, we're just going to go ahead and do it like this. So, get my little mini torch here, and we'll put that up there. And we'll get this repaired here. Now the other one we're not going to be able to because that's on the other side. So this is glued and sealed off. So now let's just go ahead and cut this one back just a little bit. I think I've got enough wire to be able to make this connection without having to add to it. Yes, we definitely do. Okay, so we get some more heat shrink and we'll be back to fix that. All right, so I also pierced the wire further up here, so we're going to go ahead and fix that right there. So when we get that done, that's just the repeat of what we did a while ago. Okay, we got that done. Let's go ahead and slide this on here. We'll splice that together. Crimp it tight like a tiger and test it. We have good firm connections there. Just make sure. Heat shrink this down. This will give a perfect seal, so we hopefully don't have this happen again. Now, I do have to fix another place where I pierced it up there, but before we go too far, let's make sure that we have communications with our remote control door lock receiver still. So let's turn on the ignition and let's do another fault scan. I'll be back when that's done. Alright, it is finished, and as we can see, the remote control door lock receiver is green. So let us test this out and make sure that everything works. Unlock. Look at there. Lock. the remote is a little, the buttons are a little iffy, but is that a word? Iffy? It is for me. I'm ex-Amish. Alright, so panic alarm. Alright. Everything works. This is what we came here to get. Awesome, I guess. I knew I had that feeling in the back of my head. Don't order that part. Check your power and ground first. But what happened was the customer stopped in a couple months ago. I say a couple months ago. Yeah, it was probably about 2 months ago. The customer stopped in, and I plugged it in, and I seen that we had lost communications with our remote control door lock receiver. So, I mean, I know these things have problems with them, especially with if you have a sunroof. Sometimes you have some water intrusion to the back there, and these little things, they just don't handle water. Well, I made an assumption, and my dealer had it on hand, and I thought, I'll just go ahead and order it, so when the truck comes by, it's here. And I didn't do my due diligence. So, it's not that big of a deal. It's embarrassing more than anything, because now I have to send it back. It's not a big deal. I never plugged it in, never reprogrammed it or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It happens. It's part of it. We're going to show it, and I'm not going to hide it. So, it is what it is. But yeah, we've confirmed that it does work, and this thing should be good to go. I'm going to get everything buttoned back up, and we'll send it back to the customer. But this took care of the problem. I hope that you guys found this interesting, and maybe you can laugh at my little bit of embarrassment here. But yeah, that's okay. It's part of life. And if you guys like this video, let me know that by tapping that like button. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see y'all on the next one. I appreciate y'all.